Hey everybody, welcome to Average Guy Opinions. I'm your average guy, John Corelli, and I'm very late. I'm only my third video of the year. Today is January 9th, so I'm way behind. I do want to talk about a few things, hopefully crank some of these out, and like I said, maybe I don't know if I really have the energy to do these anymore. To do them every day is just challenging, actually. It's hard to talk about 10 minutes for a subject every day and not be too boring. For those of you that have watched me, thank you. I hope I haven't bored you too often. But I got a few that I'll talk about in the next few episodes, and then I might run out of gas after that. We'll just see. Usually, like I've said in the past, the universe or God or nature or whatever has sent me something. Usually, when I run out of material, sent me something that I can talk about, and that's happened lately. Talk about this first. Friday night, I was part of the coaching staff of our what is called Unified Basketball Team. Now, I think I've explained this in the past, but for this video, let's explain it again. Unified is special needs kids who play basketball, and there's some other unified sports as well. I believe there's unified soccer, and I'm not sure what else. There might be some others. In fact, just as a quick sidebar, some special needs kids are able to play on typical teams. We actually have one kid that played football this year. He's a special needs kid. You know, there's obviously different levels of functionality. Some kids have a lot of cognitive disabilities that make it hard for them to play any sport. A lot of kids obviously have a lot of physical disabilities that make it hard for them to play any sport. But some of these kids are pretty high functioning, both cognitively and physically, and can often compete with some of the other kids on the sports field, you know, on a typical sports field. But Unified is for specifically for special needs kids, but some of these kids can also play very well. So we went over to Eagle Crest High School Friday afternoon, and Eagle Crest is a great school. It's I don't know if it's quite as diverse as our school, but there were a lot of kids of color on the Eagle Crest team. It's an Aurora school, but it's heading out towards southeast Aurora. I'm in northwest Aurora. Our school is by far the most diverse school, maybe in the state. Last I heard, we were second or third in the entire state, and I heard at one point we were also top 10 in the country as far as diversity. We have, like I said, we have about a third black kids, a third Latino kids, and a third white kids. But also within those color schemes are many countries represented, especially with our black kids. We got so many kids that are African immigrants or sons and daughters of African immigrants that moved here. Just on our unified team alone, we have a kid from Ghana, or I don't know if he was born there, if his parents were, but he does speak the native language of Ghana, which is called Twi. He's one of our best players too. So, and he's like, he's just on the edge. He's technically special needs, but man, you watch him play basketball and you talk to him, you probably don't think he is, but he is. We have a couple kids like that on our team. We also got a really super tall kid that is very good. So we got some really good players, and then we got a girl in a wheelchair. And then we've got some kids that can barely hold the ball, So it's an interesting spectrum of people that are playing these sports. And Eagle Crest was the same way. They had some kids that could, barely walk and talk, but could throw the basketball at the hoop, and they get extra turns and stuff. So did our young lady that was in a wheelchair. It's a really cool thing to watch, and the kids do great. The way it's run is, not only are there special needs kids, but there are typical kids that help. They're just called helpers. And so usually, when you field five players, you have you have three special needs kids and then two typical kids that are helping them. And the typical kids generally do the rebounding, and they'll pass it out. And they also kind of can clear out, like, some of the kids forget that, like if a girl in a wheelchair is about to shoot, you can't just block the ball. So some of the kids on the other teams need to be reminded, like, okay, you got to let these kids shoot. Like on the Eagle Crest team, they had a kid that was really short and very wide, but we would let him get really close, and he'd take two or three shots until he made it. Which honestly, almost wish we didn't keep score, but a lot of the kids, like I said, are at a higher level and almost technically typical children or kids, young adults, and so they do keep score and they care about the competition. So it is and Overland's a basketball school, so we're very competitive about that. But it is weird because it doesn't feel fair sometimes. I mean, our wheelchair girl keeps shooting until she makes it, and then and we get points for that. Some of the kids on Eagle Crest teams, eventually they take two or three shots and they don't make it. We would get the rebound and run down and score, and it just didn't feel fair sometimes. But it is what it is, And it is, like I said, wonderful to watch these kids and adults that coach them just really get it as far as what we do and how we interact and how we act on that court. It's really a beautiful thing. It's very giving. It's still competitive, but it's just the right mix of everything, and I'm so happy to be a part of it. Like I said, I'm an assistant coach. We have our head coach, and she's great, and this is her first year head coaching, and we didn't have uh, definitely didn't have a season last year, and we might not have had a season the year before. I'm not sure. I was still in the elementary school before that, so I'm not sure if they. I think they squeezed in the season because it's January and February, right before COVID hit in March of 2020. We definitely didn't have a season last season, so to begin 2021, because I wanted to be a part of it, and so our head coach left. He's working somewhere else now, and so we. Our former assistant coach is now the head coach. You get two assistant coaches if you want, and I'm one, and then we have another guy that helps us, and it's great. And to be honest, it's not really much coaching. It's not a lot of X's and O's as you can imagine. It's just organizing who's going to go in, keeping track of scoring, keeping track of time, and then just making sure and just being nice to the kids, saying great job when they come off, telling them what to do as they go on. And we do try to treat them with a high level of respect as far as knowing what to do. We only practice once a week. We practice for 1 hour once a week. So what we mostly do is just game simulation and some drills, but it seems to be that game simulation bears the most fruit, so they know what to do in a real game. So that's so that's what we do. We just do, okay, we're going to pretend that we're playing a game, guys. And we got enough players to do it. That's another thing about coaching at Overland. We have the smallest student population in the district of all 8 teams that compete in this, and so we also have this. Therefore, we have the smallest team. We often field the smallest team, which actually to me is a luxury. I looked across the Eagle Crest. I think they had about 20 kids. We only had 10, and that's actually, I think, very nice. You can get the kids get more playing time. To me, it's easier to schedule. No one's getting forgotten about. Like some kid at the end of the bench might go, hi, and he might be nonverbal. He might not be able to say anything, or he might be very shy, and he might not, chime in to go, yeah, I haven't played yet. So that's a nice advantage to having only 10 players and 4 helpers, is that you can cycle in everybody and everybody gets to play quite a bit. Having said that, we won 64-60. I don't know how official these things are, but I know the kids, like I said earlier, take it very seriously. I'm just glad to be a part of it. I clap. I know I almost look like a traitor sometimes. I clap no matter what, because I've been there as a parent before. When Dante was on the team back in 2015, Overland, I think, was undefeated that year. They were really good. Dante was pretty good. Dante hit some shots when he'd get the ball. But there were other kids that some of these kids, their parents will drop them off at like a gym or a rec center, and they'll just play. And some of them, the kids back in 2015, played with adults and were good. And we got a couple guys like that. One of our kids, I think he's 6'7". He's super tall, and I love this kid. And he's just a mild, super quiet kid. He's somewhere on the spectrum. I don't know what his diagnosis is, but his speech is a little garbled, but he's perfectly intelligent in my opinion. He just has some learning disabilities, but he's super tall, and it's funny watching the other people on the other side, the Eagle Crest people going, come on. Yes, hey, some people with disabilities are super tall, and this kid is. And he was actually really great. There are a few times where he could have really just made an easy layup or maybe even dunk. We're talking about him maybe dunking in a game, but I don't know. That might be a real diss to the other team. But he he's just a super gentle giant. He'll get the ball and sometimes just give it to the other team and go, yeah, go ahead. And we're perfectly fine with that because, as much as we want to win, we also want to represent our school well and be good losers or be good if it's a tie, which I think can happen. I don't think they go into overtime in these games. So whatever happens, happens, but it's a beautiful thing. I'm glad to be a part of it. Thanks for checking out my video. I've got some more things to talk about later today. And, thanks for hanging with me while I've lagged behind on these. All right, have a great day, whatever you're doing. Great evening, day, afternoon, party, whatever. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.